My name is Cbse and today we are going to start with class 10th science chapter 1 chemical reactions and equations. So in this chapter we are basically going to focus on chemical reactions and equations. That seems to be very easy, but first let us understand few basics of it. Sorry. Chemical. You all know what is chemical, right? Now, chemical change. Can you tell me what is a chemical change? In previous classes, we have learned that chemical changes are generally, here in chemistry, we never say that it happens always. There are few exceptions, right? So, we know that generally, I'm talking about generally. Please focus because assertion and reasoning में इसी तरह के questions आएंगे. So generally chemical change होता है. I didn't need to write it down again, but yeah, it's alright. Is irreversible. What is it? It's irreversible. यानी इसको हम change नहीं कर सकते हैं. If we have done something, it can't be changed. ऐसे chemical changes. और इसका हमने opposite सीखा था physical change, and the change was that there is no new product is formed. Right, here a new product is always formed. New product. That's the highlight. Whatever chemical change happens, there is a new product formed. Like, for example, let's take, if you tear a paper, right? Like, it's paper. If I tear it, no new substance is formed. But in a chemical reaction, so let's suppose if I burn it, then we'll get ash. And that is chemical change where new product is formed. इतना हमें पता है. Now, what is chemical reaction? Chemical reaction are the, products which undergoes chemical change. Like, if I talk about, let's suppose magnesium is burned in air, that is oxygen, gives me magnesium oxide, right? Now magnesium and oxygen, I'll say this as chemical reaction. These are the product that undergoes chemical change. The simple definition of chemical reaction that you have to remember is the process in which a substance undergoes chemical change, okay, to produce new product, new substances. Got it? Itna clear hai, right? And now this new product, let's talk about this new product. So new product is nothing different but the rearrangement of the reactants only. Reactant क्या होते हैं जो react कर रहे हैं साथ में. On this side are the reactants and this is the product side. इतना हमें पता है. Chemical equation is the equation, it represents reactants, product in a symbolical way and also telling like physical state, right? For example, magnesium is solid, oxygen is a gas. So it is telling its physical state. Now one term comes here is skeletal equation. This can be asked in your exams in a definition way, that what does you mean by skeletal equation, or is it a skeletal equation? So skeletal equation basically means that there is no mention of state, only written the chemical formula with products and reactant, no physical state, right? No balancing, nothing. Like अगर मैं इसको balance करती हूँ, so it will look like this. But in skeletal equations, no physical state, no balancing, just this, right? And this skeletal equation can be both balanced and unbalanced. Now this line is very important here because sometimes we get confused that what does it means, why it can be balanced and unbalanced, when I'm saying that skeletal equation will be no balancing done, no atom balancing on either side of equation is done, then why I'm saying that it can be balanced also. So See here. Let me write two examples. I hope you are, this basics are, you know already that C is carbon, O2 is oxygen, right? And the second one is, okay. Now tell me, which one is skeletal equation? You will all say, if you know how to balance, you must know how to balance. Let me tell you, यहाँ hydrogen 2 है, यहाँ 2 है, यहाँ oxygen 2 है, but here it is 1 only. So it is not balanced. Here 1 carbon, 2 oxygen means this one is balanced. So might be most of you will say that this is the skeletal equation. But for the real answer, this both are skeletal equation. Because physical state किसी में नहीं लिखी है, बैलेंसिंग मैंने की नहीं है, दिस इज बैलेंस्ड बट फिजिकल स्टेट नहीं है, and this is not balanced, no atom balancing is there, no mention of state is there, that's why it is skeletal equation. ठीक है, this must be clear to you all. Now let me show you some notes from which you can just write down your definitions, because definition is very important in the chapter, right? So here it goes. Chemical reactions and equations. Notes and chemical change is what? A change in which a new substance is formed, and it is non-reversible, and I have mentioned here also it is generally. Like burning, baking fireworks, you can all do that. Chemical reaction, I have already said that it's a process in which substance undergoes chemical change and no new products substance is produced. And I have told you already that it's the new product is nothing but the rearrangement of atoms. And one more thing, the nature of product is different from reactants. A plus B हमने किया reactant, but the product is C and it is a new substance and its properties will be new as well. Okay. Chemical equation, it represents reactants, products and physical state symbolically. Now you will see कि chemical changes so हमें पता है already why to write. It is important to write because sometimes we think that we know, but when it comes to examination, we are not able to answer it. Skeletal equation, this can come in your examination as assertion and reasoning. So no mention of state, no atom balancing on either side, can be both balanced and unbalanced. Simple. Now the question here arises, why do we need to balance equations? This question is quite big, right? So we do need, just simple answer है, we do balancing to fulfill law of conservation of mass so that there is equal mass of reactant and product. Let me just add one more thing. Sorry. The individual, so you remember the two laws we learned of atom. First one is the law of constant proportion and second is the law of conservation of mass. So we do need to do balancing the equation because we need to fulfill law of conservation of mass, as mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Just write it down. Mass created nor be destroyed. This line has a very, very important role. So मैं तो भूल गई, but please don't forget this line. If you write this line, if you are writing law of conservation of mass also, so it simply means this only we have learned. But still, let's not give a chance to our the person who is checking, to deduct our marks, right? Because it's a board exam. The individual elements that constitute a chemical compounds are always present in fixed ratio. Let me repeat. The individual elements that constitute a chemical compound are always present in fixed ratio. We know we have fixed ratio. Like ये इतने के साथ इतना ही होगा. हमने किया था एक क्वेश्चन भी था, आई गेस था कि 9th के एग्जामिनेशन में आया था कि like I have few grams of hydrogen and this much oxygen. So how much I'll get water? So in that question, what we have to write that every individual elements that constitute a chemical compound are always present in fixed ratio, that is law of constant or definite proportion. और उसके बाद क्या लिखना था, just water का ratio and then we'll do rest. हम उसको रेशियो में लिखेंगे जो ग्राम्स हमें दिया, and then the answer will come. I'll tell you that question also. I will solve together. Now let's move forward. See, balancing का तो बहुत ही लंबा वीडियो बनेगा, and here we have to just ace this chapter ASAP, right? So here I'm not going to literally tell you how to do balancing, but I'm going to tell you a few important points. If you know, it's great. If you don't know, just remember and keep it in your mind. Now, this is the equation given to you. Now my question is, why I'm writing H2 here, O2 here, and why I have written H2O here only? अगर यही था तो मैं सीधे ऐसे भी तो लिख सकती थी H2O2. नहीं, I could have written it like H2O2. Doesn't it make more sense? But why have I not written it? ये तो करना भी मत जो मैंने यहाँ किया है. That's fully wrong. But tell me that why H2 is here, O2 is here, but why H2 only here? One more example can be Mg plus O2 gives me MgO. Now here also Mg के आगे 2 नहीं लिखा, 3 नहीं लिखा, 4 नहीं लिखा, but O2 के सामने like O के सामने 2 लिख दिया. Why? And then the product is MgO. Why not MgO2? Just think about the question, and I would like to know that who are the, the person who is above this range, who knows the answer. Just comment. I'll get to you. Okay. Come back to the question. One more example, if you want, is why have I written PB2 and P4 only? Why it is written? No, not this question. I have okay. Why this is written as? Actually, ये वाला तो आप बोल सकते हो कि CO2 ही लिखा है. So let's not mind this one. But tell me the case for the rest. This. Why? So the simple answer is valency and atomicity. The two terms very important. Valency and atomicity. Valency, atomicity. Now what does this means? Valency क्या होती है? We have learned Bohr model पढ़ा था, right? Key element cell, electronic configuration. Then we have learned like this: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. Right? Calcium तक तो याद किया था, and if you know above it, that's great. So valency, I hope कि few की तो आपको valency बिना काउंट किए भी याद होगी. Atomicity, I think atomicity you might know, many of you, but you might not know as well. I can't be sure, so let me tell you here. हमें पता है एक चीज होती है एटम, एक चीज होती है एलिमेंट. These are the two things. And now when I was learning it, I was damn confused. Like really, I didn't know what is happening here. Atom, element, like what is it, right? So atom is like this hydrogen, sulfur, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, aluminum, like many are the atoms, right? Calcium. Now element is what कि जब हम एक ही तरह के एटम को साथ लाते हैं, right? तो इसमें अब क्या होता है, few elements like उनका पता है कि ये अगर एलिमेंट है, हाइड्रोजन का एलिमेंट है तो इतने एटम्स है, ऑक्सीजन के एलिमेंट में इतने एटम्स है, दैट वी नो. ओके, क्लोरीन का वही सीन है, वी नो दैट इनके एलिमेंट्स में इतने नंबर ऑफ एटम्स होते हैं, एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी कॉल एटॉमिसिटी हियर. ठीक है, you can find atomicity tables also. They are huge table. Like hydrogen atomicity is 2, sulfur atomicity is 8, oxygen atomicity 2, carbon atomicity 1, nitrogen atomicity is 2, calcium is also having 1, and chlorine is 2. So these are the atomicity. Okay, these are the atomicity. So when you are writing an element, right, so you write it according to its atomicity. Like magnesium's atomicity is 2. Sorry, magnesium is 1, lead is 2, phosphorus is 4, oxygen 2, hydrogen is also 2. So याद रखना कि elements लिख रहे हो, so you have to consider their atomicity, and when you are writing a compound, you have to consider valency. Now, I know that you have learned pretty well about writing the compounds in class 9, but again, I'm telling you like HO. Tell me its valency, hydrogen ki valency and oxygen ki valency ASAP, as soon as possible. Just tell me. Okay. So I hope you know that hydrogen comes as 1. It has one proton, 1 electron. And that's why it is like 1. Its की valency 1 है. Oxygen की valency, what is the number of protons? What is the atomic number of oxygen? So it is 8. Pretty well. Now 8 का अगर configuration करोगे तो KLMN. I hope you know that KLMN cells, because it's going to be, atoms are everywhere and you must know the basics of atom. First, K cell में 2 डलते maximum. L में you can go up to 6, but we have now 6 only left. And in L cell you can go up to 8 only. Can't exceed 8. Okay, 8 is the limit of the other cells. 6, 2, 8. Now 8 minus 6 is what? 2. It means if we add plus 2, then it will become, tell me, it will become, sorry, I have to write it here because I'm talking about its atomic number. Let's write A. Okay, so plus 2 will make it a, fill octet. What will it make? Octet. So I want to make it octet. Now for making octet, 2. तो इसकी valency है 2. Now it crisscrosses. So it will give me H2O. तो इतना समझ आ गया how to write compounds, how to write elements. Okay, elements के लिए. Now let me show you something. Sorry for my bad handwriting, and please avoid the scribbles and all. But I was just writing it roughly, but then I found it useful, so I thought of showing it to you. Now let's just talk about this because we have no time left. We have already spent about 20 minutes in this only, and we have to learn a model. Atomicity table is this. You can just learn it on your fingertips, right? Like hydrogen, helium, lithium, you have already remembered. Now from this, in this, okay, till 20 atomic number, 5 are there whose atomicity is 2, 1 is there whose atomicity is 4, and 1 is here whose atomicity is 8. Rest all are having the atomicity of 1. Hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and chlorine are the 5 elements whose atomicity is 2. And phosphorus is 4, sulfur is 8. So what we say, like, let me use this paper. We say that when S के 8 साथ आए, sorry for my bad drawing, when this all joined together, I'm doing a very rough, but you know that we have a proper diagram for that, and I'll show you. I'm gonna show you soon. Okay, so जब ये साथ आए, then they make one element of sulfur, and that is S8. Okay, so please just remember the atomicity, because most of the time we write wrong atomicity, and this will just deduct your marks, because अगर आप atomicity गलत लिख रहे हो, then your balancing will go wrong. If you are writing your compounds wrong, your balancing will go wrong. Okay, compounds valency होता है. You know the atomic number, just you have to do the electronic configuration. That is 2 in the first K cell, and rest 888. You can go like that, right? And K element cell, Bosch model, we know that this is the number of proton is known as atomic number, and proton plus neuron, the number of proton plus number of neuron is what? Mass number. For example, if I say atomic number of calcium, so it's 20, but the mass number of calcium, then it is 20 plus 20, 40. Okay, and you can do the electronic configuration, right? And now here are few metals whose atomicity is 1, like iron, silver, copper, zinc, cobalt, titanium, manganese, nickel, chromium. So it is very easy to write. Here I have written few points like HCl. Hydrochloric acid is usually aqueous state. Zinc, iron are the metals, and these are usually available in solid state. I know this is very basic, but I found it hard while learning, so I thought just to remind you of. And do remember atomic number, mass number, because sometimes class 10 is a big time of your life, so they can ask you multiple questions like that. Fine. Okay, now let's start with the types of reactions. I have already shown you the table where we have seen that how many types of reaction are there. And let us start with the combination reaction, one of the easiest reaction. This is just like when two or more substances combine to form a single product. Reactant side can be A plus B plus C, whatever. You can have two or at least two or more substances, but your product should be one only. Product side must be one. Here you can have two or two plus. Okay. Now for example, we have done a lot of examples because it is one of the easiest. CO2, that is, I should write the whole reaction, right? CO2 gives CO2, then O2 gives H2O, and write one point. Up examples we लिख रहे हो, even if you are writing examples, balancing is very important. You have to balance it. ठीक है, कभी भी skeletal equation नहीं छोड़ना है. If you know the physical state, write it down, but I'll say that physical state तभी लिखना when you are very pretty sure that yeah, this is what is it. क्योंकि हमें marks गंवाने नहीं है, right? Like here I know that C is a gas only, O2 is gas only, H2 is gas only, O2 is gas only, CO2 is gas, H2O is liquid. So here you can write it down, but उसको आप एक बार को ignore भी करो, but balancing must not be ignored. Now then the example comes like ammonia M plus HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, gives me NH4 is what? Ammonium chloride. Okay, ammonia plus hydrochloric acid can give ammonium chloride. You can see two reactants but one product, two reactants, one product, two reactants, one product. It have to be one product only. What is happening here is the reactants just combine to form the new substance. Reactants just combine to form new substance. Just combine. They are combining. So as the name gives, it is a combination reaction where two or more substances combine to form a single product. And this is one of the easiest one. Just write it down, its definition. Remember, for example, you don't even need to remember. You can just write it down, but still, for emergency. Now here is a, one more very interesting topic that comes like slaked lime, quicklime. Quicklime, if you remember in class 9th, right, in class 9, you had a question about quicklime, that what is the quicklime is. Kya hai compound? What is the compound name of quicklime? So, if you remember, we wrote in our NCERT question answers also, that is calcium oxide. CaO is quicklime. अब इसकी formation कैसे होती है? So, not use this because इस confusion हो सकता है. इसकी formation होती है calcium plus, okay, what I am saying is, so I was saying is Ca plus O2 gives CaO, right? Now here what we'll do, just balance it, right? So this is the equation for quicklime. Now comes the slaked lime. Slaked lime is nothing but calcium hydroxide. This is calcium oxide, and quicklime is calcium hydroxide. Now slaked lime, that is the calcium hydroxide, is formed by calcium oxide plus water. Gives me what? Calcium hydroxide. Now this also needs to be balanced. Let's say calcium 1, oxygen 1, plus 1, 2, oxygen 2, hydrogen 2, hydrogen 2. Okay, this is done. So this is what this quicklime and slaked lime is. After that, first of all, let me tell you one thing. इसमें आपको पता है ऑक्सीजन 2 है, हाइड्रोजन 2 है. This is just for extra info. If you know, you can just skip this part. But I thought like telling, so let me tell. Now let's suppose यहाँ कुछ और था and you have to do balancing and you wrote 3 here. So now tell me how many oxygen are here and how many hydrogen are here. Fast. So what we'll do is 3 to the 6. 3 to the 6. Because this whole 2 means what? That here there are 2 atoms of oxygen, 2 hydrogen. So when there are 2, so when we multiply it with 3, it gives us 6. Means now there are 6 oxygen and 6 hydrogen and 3 calcium. ठीक है, इतना clear है ना? Now let's suppose it is given like, now tell me how many nitrogen are here and how many hydrogen are there. Fast. Okay. So first तो ये याद कर लो कि bracket we have learnt in maths also. This means whole. Means there are 2 hydrogen and 2 nitrogen for sure. ठीक है. Now let's think about this. This is for hydrogen, not nitrogen. इतना we know. So what we'll do is nitrogen is 2 here and hydrogen is 3 here inside it, but its whole bracket 2. Then 3 to the 6 means 6 hydrogen. This is nothing new, but something I thought. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but something I thought I need to tell you, so that's what it is. Okay. Now things apart. Here a famous thing happened. Not a famous thing, but yeah. Quicklime पहले तो याद कर लो. Quicklime, just write it down wherever you can do, because 1 mark a question it can come. Quicklime is used as a germicide. You know what is germicide? That kills germs, or you can say as a flux. Flux is a thing that kills, act as a disinfectant. Quicklime is used as germicide and flux. You must remember this. You must remember calcium oxide, CaO. Now CaO को मुझे वैसे लगता नहीं, I need to tell you, but calcium की valency जो होती है, that is 2, oxygen की valency is also 2. When they crisscross each other, then it comes like Ca2O2, and we have learned that when the both are same, then we can just calcium them out and write it as CaO. Okay, quicklime के बारे में we have learned everything, and it is also known as quicklime because it is highly hydrated. Okay, it is very highly hydrated. You don't need to go further about quicklime, why it is quicklime and so. But if you want to know about it, just comment me, then I'll surely will tell you in the next video. So for now, quicklime is used as germicide, flux, and it is calcium oxide. Fine. Now the slaked lime. Here comes a king. Slaked lime is used for whitewashing. Yeah, you have heard me right. जो आपके घर पे white washing होती है, that is of slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide. OH is known as hydroxide for your information, just for our information. So why it is known as, why we use whitewashing, why we use slaked lime for whitewashing? We could have used quicklime also. Why only particularly slaked lime? We know that everything in science has some reason. Okay, this is an explanation. So what is it like? CaOH2. You paint it on your walls for whitewashing. Now this reacts with carbon dioxide. Okay, now your select lines react with carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide किधर जाते हैं? It is in atmosphere. Let's suppose this is wall, you painted whitewashing of select line, you did it, and now atmosphere, carbon dioxide is there, right? Obviously it is there. So that gives me what? Just tell me what you think it can be. Let me write it down by that time. Okay, मुझे यहाँ मिल जाता है what? I get calcium carbonate and water. ठीक है? Don't worry, I'll just write it down beautifully for you. Okay, so what it becomes? Calcium carbonate and water. This calcium carbonate is having the milkiness. It has a milkiness, okay? But a layer of calcium carbonate is there on the wall. H2O precipitate. I'll tell you the meaning of precipitate. But now what happens is, now this reacts again. So under, like 2 to 3 days, you say, this calcium carbonate plus H2O plus CO2 gives CaHCO 3/2. So now here it had the milkiness, but now milkiness just vanishes. Okay, why? Because it reacts with, it had the water, then again it reacts with carbon dioxide available in atmosphere, and it gives me calcium hydrocarbonate. Okay, this is easy. Okay, now let me just show you something. 1 second. Yeah, this question can come in your examination, that like slick lime by dissolving calcium hydroxide in an excess water solution left exposed to air, the solution goes milky as spent white precipitate. Explain why precipitate form. So what is this saying? कि पहले तो calcium hydroxide बनाएंगे. Quick lime plus water gives me calcium hydroxide. Then this calcium hydroxide reacts in the carbon dioxide available in atmosphere, that gives me calcium carbonate and water, that is precipitate. और फिर से in 2 to 3 days it reacts again with carbon dioxide, it had water, and this is the final product we get. And this is now very shining, the milkiness just vanishes, and it's very beautiful. So slake lime is used for whitewashing, that is calcium hydroxide, and then calcium dioxide, I have to write it, I'm so sorry, calcium oxide hydroxide यहाँ लिखना है, just just a bit, reacts with carbon dioxide from air to form a thin layer of calcium carbonate on wall. It's formed after 2-3 days and gives a shiny finish. Okay, this is clear. और मार्बल को हम मार्बल का जो chemical formula होता है ना, that is also calcium carbonate, because calcium carbonate is the reason for the shining. If your wall is shining after whitewashing, you do whitewashing, that it shines, it looks beautiful. So why? Because of the calcium carbonate. Okay, so in combination reaction, this definition can come like 1 mark, but this quick lime select lime वाला जो question आएगा ना, it will have 3 to 4 marks. If it comes, it will have, ये 1 marker में आ सकता है quick lime का germicide flux वाला. Select lime का ये पूरा formula, तीनों formulas, this and this, you have to write it in what? In balanced equation. Now let's check कि हमारे ये equations balance है कि नहीं, because before ending this video we have to balance it, because I think you all must be giving me answers that if we are not balancing it, we are going to lose our marks. Okay, so 1 calcium, 1 calcium, 1 carbon, 1 carbon, 2, 2, 4. 4 oxygen, 3 plus 1, 4 oxygen, 2 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. Okay, this one is checked. Now here, 1 calcium, 1 calcium, 2 carbon, 2 carbon. See, whole bracket के आगे 2 है, so hydrogen and carbon 2 है. Here also hydrogen is 2. Now oxygen 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 oxygen on the reactive side, and how many on the... Okay, so exothermic and endothermic is our next topic, but before that, yeah, I was telling you these formulas only, and as I've promised, I've written it in a beautiful way. Quicklime reacts with H2O to give slaked lime. That's used for whitewashing. Its equation. This is quicklime. This is slaked lime equation. Then slaked lime reacts with CO2 present in atmosphere to give us calcium carbonate plus water, and water is precipitate here, and here is some kind of milkiness. Marble का जो chemical formula होता है, that is what? CaCO3. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let us talk about exothermic reactions in which heat is given out, produced or released. What I'm trying to say is, let us suppose we have already done combination reaction, right, in which two or more substances combine together to form a new substance. So here let us say C plus O2 gives what? CO2, right? Now this is a combination reaction, this we know, but it is also an exothermic reaction. In chemistry, in this chapter, a single equation can be 2 to 3 types of reactions. They can give you a question कि एक equation आप बताओ कितने types के reaction इसमें इस equation है. So first, this is a combination reaction. Secondly, it is a exothermic reaction, जिसमें भी product side में heat हो, जिसमें भी product में given out heat हो रहा है, heat is released. That is what? It is a exothermic reaction. Like combustion we all know. Combustion जो होता है वो हमेशा exothermic in nature, exothermic reaction ही होता है, because in that case heat is released, right? Like for example, we did the combustion of magnesium, right? So it comes out to be like, now let me just balance it ASAP. Yeah, so magnesium को भी जब हम जलाते हैं तो it gives us magnesium oxide plus heat. So in any kind of reaction, if you are saying heat is also produced, you have to know that exothermic reaction is there. And one more thing that I want to tell you is combination reaction. जो हमने अभी पढ़ा, combination reaction, that is generally. Now remember, whenever I said generally, it means generally only, because nothing is permanent in chemistry, okay? But most of the times combination reaction is a exothermic. You can read also many a times, it's written in few books that combination reactions are the exothermic reactions most of the time. Okay, this is a combination reaction, heat is also there, so this equation is combination and exothermic reaction. Combustion, कोई भी combustion हो, it will be exothermic reaction. Magnesium combustion is also exothermic because heat is given out. Like also slaked lime, we did now slaked lime also, so it is also a exothermic reaction and combination reaction. And somehow some people says me कि फिर तो हमारा product 2 हो जा रहा है, it doesn't remain 1. So how it is a combination reaction? So firstly, let me tell you that the product we getting is slaked lime, calcium hydroxide only, sorry, my correction. Calcium hydroxide is the product, but साथ में what we absorb is heat is also absorbed. Yeah, you can say temperature rises. If you check now, if you take a test tube and magnesium ribbon को आप उसमें burn करोगे, then you will check it, temperature rises. Or also this also, if you take a test tube, put some calcium oxide, that is the quicklime, in it, and add some water. When you will touch it now, you will feel a rise in temperature, there is a heat. So basically it's a combination reaction only, this one product formed, but heat is in the sense temperature rises or something, there is a change, right? So that is what a exothermic reaction is all about, and this is very important. You must know how to classify whether it is exothermic reaction or not. And the simplest definition is this, nothing very, the reaction in which heat is given out, you can write, or you can write heat is produced or heat is released. Moreover, in Byju's and other sites, you will check that they have written reaction in which heat is released. So you can also write the same. Now endothermic reaction. we haven't learned decomposition reaction yet, but still I'm just telling you because जैसे यहाँ combination का exothermic था ना, in the same way there is like decomposition reaction are generally endothermic reaction. That's why it has a deep connection with decomposition reaction. So I was thinking that before doing endothermic reaction, let's first learn about decomposition reaction. Now what is decomposition reaction? So a single reactant breaks down to give simpler products, or you can say single reactant so breakdown and decomposes, you can write either, it will be right, to form number of products, and you can say what right कि ये combination reaction का exact opposite होता है. In combination reactions, there in reactant side it can be 2, 3 and anything, 2 plus anything, right? Or product will be one only, it can't be more than one. Now here will be the reactant will be one only and product can be more than one. So हो गया ना exact opposite. Combination reaction क्या था? So combination reaction was 2 or more reactant, but product will be 1, but decomposition will be exact opposite. इसमें आप reactant तो 1 ही रहेगा. In anyhow reactant will be 1 and product can be 2 or more. ठीक है. In simpler languages you can say combination का exact opposite होता है, reactant 1 होते हैं, product 2 or more. But you can't write it like that in your examination. If it is asked, you have to write a proper definition, and you can write either whichever you feel like is easy to learn. Single reactant breaks down to give simpler products, or single reactant breakdown decomposes to form number of products. I think decomposes will be more easier because reaction का नाम ही है decomposition reaction, so you can just write single reactant decomposes to form number of products. ठीक है. Now example. Now CaO, what is it? Quicklime. Quicklime कैसे form होता है? Ca plus O2. So ये balance हो गया. Calcium plus oxide gives calcium oxide. But when calcium oxide breaks down, so what it gives? It gives us calcium and oxide. अगर ये combination reaction होता तो combination reaction कैसे होता? This one. Calcium plus oxide gives calcium oxide. Yeah, please balance it. This one needs to be balanced. You also keep checking कि कोई भी rest are balanced. This one was left. But कोई भी reaction if you are writing in exam or anywhere, you have to write in the balance form. It will give a good impression to your checker as well, and it's the correct way to write in exam. So this is decomposition reaction. Calcium oxide breaks down to give number of products like calcium plus oxide. The second example can be lead nitrate breaks down to give me lead plus nitrogen oxide plus oxygen. So let me balance. 3 to the 6, 2 to 4, 2 to the 4, 5, 6, 2. Okay. So 1 minute. Let me just check it. Acha, sorry, my apologies. So it will be like this. Lead oxide plus nitrogen oxide plus oxygen. Lead nitrate breaks down to form lead oxide, nitrogen oxide and oxygen. And if I balance it, so 4 to the 8, 9, 10, 11. So let me balance it. So I have to write 2 here. So here also 2. Okay, now it is balanced. 2 lead, 2 lead. 2 to the 4, 4 to the 12 oxygen. 2, 8, 4 to the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 lead, 2 lead. So everything is balanced. और I have already told you कि हमें कैसे compound बनाते हैं, कैसे लिखते हैं, right? Here also I am just feeling like I should tell. So PB की valency 2 होती है, और NO की चार्ट हमने पढ़ा था नाइट्रेट का CF1. So it crisscrosses, so it gives me NO3/2. This was just, I felt like you might be confused कि ये acid formation कैसे बनता है, so that's why. This is one more example can be AgCl. What is this? Silver chloride breaks down or decomposes to give us silver plus chloride, and I have balanced it. So this is silver chloride decomposes to give us silver and chloride. Now here the thing is, this is very easy, but how it decomposes? For decomposition, it is very important heat to be given in any form. Heat either in the form of your sunlight or light, either in form your heat in the normal way or in the electricity form. Electricity से भी heat produce होती है. So in any way you have to give heat, then only it can be decomposed, right? जैसे यहाँ पे भी heat दिया है मैंने, heat. Here also I have given it heat. Without heat, यहाँ पे कोई आप देखो यहाँ कुछ react करने को नहीं है. So how it will decompose into number of products? So when we give it heat, जब ये इसको heat देंगे lead nitrate को, then only it can decompose to give us lead oxide, nitrogen oxide, oxygen. In the same way calcium oxide को भी हम heat देंगे, then it will give us calcium and oxygen. Here in this form, in this way, silver chloride. Here I give it heat. Heat तो देना ही है, but not in the simpler form of heat and not in thermal way. I am giving it in the form of sunlight. Sunlight is also a source of heat. Electricity is also a source of heat. So here in this case I am giving it heat in the form of sunlight. I hope decomposition is all done. Now 3 types of decomposition are there on the basis कि आप किस source से heat provide कर रहे हो to the reactant. Okay. So the basis क्या है इसका? Source of heat. ये मैं आपको इन एग्जाम पर्पस यू डोंट नीड टू राइट कि इसका बेसिस ये है. आई विल से डोंट राइट इट. इट्स जस्ट फॉर योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सोर्स ऑफ हीट वी हैव डिवाइडेड इनटू 3 ways. First is thermal, second is electrolytic and third is photolytic. Now इसमें क्या डिफरेंस है? Thermal is like giving heat, just like heat. So calcium oxide को मैंने heat दिया, so it gives me calcium plus oxide. Then I'll say it is a thermal. In the same way, this one is also thermal. But here I'm providing it heat in the source with the source of sunlight. जब आप sunlight के दे रहे हो to decompose it in from the number of product, then you will say it is a photolytic. Photolytic. Do you remember photosynthesis? Photosynthesis maybe we use sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. It is very important. And that's why only we give it the name photosynthesis. Photo means light. Sunlight ka light. In the same way, photolytic, just remember photo means light. Photolytic means the source is light. Simple. Electrolytic, they doesn't ask you much about this. Definition इनकी आपसे नहीं पूछनी चाहिए. NCERT में भी as like वैसा कुछ you don't have provided with the deep meaning of it. But we know that we just need to know about it. That's all we need to know. So electrolysis we have learned in the previous chapter that how water is divided, या water में से हम कैसे different करते हैं hydrogen and oxygen को. Okay, so do you remember H2O decomposes to give us hydrogen gas and oxygen gas, and if I just do it, it is a balance equation. So here it is form of electricity. ठीक है, electricity की form में है, so it will be electrolytic. Light की form में, so it will be photolytic. And if it is form of heat, just heat, so it is thermal. They can also give you it like, let me write one more example for thermal. Just let me write it which kind. This is thermal. This is also thermal. This is photolytic. This is electrolytic, right? Now, one more. FeSO4, that is iron sulfate, decomposes to give me iron oxide. No, iron oxide, no. ferric oxide. Yeah, it will give me to form ferric oxide plus sulfide plus sulfate. Sorry, sulfur dioxide. Sulfide. Okay. So FeSO4. What I am saying? FeSO4 decomposes to give me ferric oxide plus sulfate plus sulfur dioxide. Okay. Now you will see. Now tell me which type of reaction it is. Is it thermal, electrolytic, photolytic? So this symbol, let me just help you. This symbol is equals to heat. It's a symbolic form of heat. 1 second. So now tell me which type of reaction it is. A single product is there. Sorry, a single reactant is there, and it decomposes to give me number of products. So firstly, it is a type of decomposition reaction that we know. Secondly, which kind of decomposition reaction? So heat is the source. It is not electricity. It is not sunlight. Therefore, it can't be electrolytic. It can't be photolytic. And we know that heat is thermal. Therefore, it is a thermal decomposition reaction. So, it's not clear. Now, let me just write one more last. I'll say EgBr is silver bromide. Gives me silver plus bromide. So, let me just balance it. Okay. So, here the source is sunlight. Now, tell me which kind of reaction is it? Is it thermal? It is electrolytic or photolytic? If you know the answer, so before I write it down, just comment in the comment section. So, it is photolytic. Now, tell me why photolytic? Because the source is sunlight. And sunlight, wherever the source is sunlight, we give it as photolytic. Now, you will say that why we are using always silver. It might come in your mind, I don't know, but I was just thinking. So, silver को हम सबसे ज़्यादा, you know, in the China days, we put silver and it reacts with, it breaks down, whichever combination is written here, it breaks down in presence of sunlight. So, that one is very common, you know, easy to remember and common, that's why. Now, here one thing is important that I would like to tell. You can just write these all examples. I'm telling you, you can write in more beautiful way कि thermal का पहले आप example लिख लो, फिर photolytic का लिख लो, फिर electrolytic का लिख लो, but you need to write it down. Okay, it is important to write it. Now, EgBr, sunlight, this. Here the term I want to discuss is AgCl. कौन से कलर का होता है? It is silver in color. Silver is silver in color. ठीक है. When it was silver chloride, it was silver in color. But now when sunlight, there is a decomposition of silver chloride in the presence of sunlight. That's why it is photolytic. So then the silver is grey in color. See, color is very important because sometimes the question is like which color it forms, what is the change of the color, you know. तो ये सब आपको पता होना चाहिए because in the exam point of view, they can give you a question like X compound was silver in color and it breaks down to form the element which is grey in color. Name the compound or name the element. So you can just write it down. In the same way, lead nitrate जो होता है, that is colorless in nature. It is colorless. But here it is, your lead oxide is yellow in color. Your nitrogen oxide is reddish brown in color. So it can be written as an observation as well कि जब हम colorless lead nitrate जो colorless होता है, when it decomposes to form number of products, it gives us lead oxide that is yellow in color. Then we also can see that nitrogen oxide appears as reddish brown in nature. And nitrogen oxide is basically, you know, vapor. Nitrogen oxide will appear reddish brown vapors. Okay, this is just the observation, and we'll learn more about it when we will discuss the activities of these reactions. There is a lot of reactions activity given in your NCERT textbook. So I hope decomposition reaction is very simple. The main thing is one reactant and number of products, and there is always a medium involved, whether it can be heat, sunlight or electricity, and on the basis of these we have three types of reactions: thermal, electrolytic, photolytic. Photolytic is for sunlight, electrolytic is for electricity, and thermal is for the simple way of heat. और जब भी आप heat लिखो तो for a better way you can just use this triangle as the symbol of heat. ठीक है? And electrolytic, this example activity I think 1.7 it is, and it's very important. You should once read it by yourself. Okay, now let's move forward to the thing we were supposed to do. Endothermic reaction. Now we can discuss endothermic reaction. Is absorbed or utilized. Decomposition में क्या हुआ? Heat was used as a medium. The same way, these all reactions, basically this heat one or the sunlight one or the electricity one, can be written as endothermic reaction. So we can say that all decomposition reactions are endothermic. ठीक है? All decomposition reaction are endothermic. Now here also, as I have already said, there are a lot of exceptions in chemistry, but still you can just remember that all decomposition reactions are endothermic in nature, as we have already discussed these examples. ठीक है? So why it is so? क्योंकि endothermic में heat absorb होती है. If I am writing CO2, so heat is there absorbed to give me C plus O2. Are you getting my point? Okay, so it is the balanced. Now there are number of examples for it, and you must just, yeah, calcium carbonate is also a good example. Calcium carbonate breaks down, heat is there, so calcium carbonate breaks down to give us calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So here also heat is absorbed. In any reaction wherever heat is absorbed, it will be endothermic. I'll just say कि ये जो points है, these are for the exertion and reasoning questions, but in the simple way I'll not say कि इस पे ज़्यादा भरोसा करो, because sometimes exceptions are there and I don't want you to get confused. So ये याद रखो, जब heat अगर दे रहा है, so it will be exothermic. Nothing you have to think about. अगर product में heat आ रहा है, so it is exothermic. अगर heat absorbed हो रहा है, so it will be endothermic. Nothing else. Okay. And we have learned decomposition, we have learned combination, exothermic, endothermic is also done. And before starting displacement, I will like to talk about something else. Yeah, so it's a decomposition reaction. Now when respiration is decomposition reaction, then you will say that it must be endothermic in nature. But the answer is no. Respiration is decomposition reaction, but here comes the exception. It's not endothermic in nature. Endothermic in nature means that the heat or the heat energy must be absorbed, right? Reaction in which heat is absorbed or utilized means heat energy must be absorbed. But in respiration, it doesn't get absorbed. Let me write the chemical formulas. See. Carbohydrate, breaks to form glucose. ठीक है? Glucose यानी C6H12O6. Now this 6,6H12O6 combines with oxygen to give me what? Carbon dioxide plus water plus ATP. Energy, that is in the sense. तो respiration में क्या होता है? Carbohydrates glucose में break down हो जाते हैं, and this is the digestion. Now digestion is done. Carbohydrates is break down in glucose. This is what digestion है. अब जब glucose बन गया, then comes the process of respiration. Respiration does what? We inhale oxygen. This oxygen then combines with our glucose. When glucose and oxygen combines, it gives us carbon dioxide plus water plus ATP energy. And you can check in your books as well. This written in your NCERT textbook that respiration is a decomposition reaction as well as it is a exothermic in nature. Let me show you in the book. So you can see during digestion, food is broken down into simpler substances. For example, rice, potatoes, bread contain carbohydrates, right? And these carbohydrates are broken down to form glucose. This glucose combines with oxygen in the cells of our body and provides energy. The special name of this reaction is respiration, and we'll learn more about it. And here the equation is also given, the balanced equation. So it breaks down, it's a decomposition reaction, and it is a exothermic reaction that is written in the textbook. Why it is exothermic reaction? Because heat is produced, right? The heat is produced, energy is when energy is produced, heat is also produced, and therefore it is decomposition reaction, but also it's a exothermic reaction. So respiration से related question, I don't know कितने आएंगे, because it's not very important because you have been learning about it, but the equation is important. Let's balance it. C6, C is 1, so firstly let's write it here. C6. Now oxygen is how much? 6, 7, 8. Here it is 8, it is 6 to the 12, 13. Oh, first let's just do the hydrogen. Hydrogen 12 है, hydrogen 2 है, so let's write 2, 6 to the 12, 6 to the 12. Now 6 to the 12, 8. So now we have to write 6 1 here also to comma. Now let's take 6 to the 12, 18. 6 to the 12, 6, 18. Now it is balance chemical equation, and respiration is what? It's decomposition reaction, it's exothermic reaction. I just thought to tell you it about, because in books many a times it's written that combination reaction is exothermic and decomposition reactions are endothermic. But there can be exceptions, like one of the most important reaction, that is respiration, that is decomposition and exothermic both. Okay? Now let's move forward to displacement reaction. Now before learning about displacement reaction, I want you to learn this. Please stop calling me a careless Deborah. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. This is really available in Google. I have also get a print from Google as well. Most reactive से लेके less reactive तक. Platinum is also there, but in this we haven't considered it. Actually, platinum doesn't come. It is very rare. So please stop calling me a careless Deborah. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. You can take a screenshot of it or write it down. Pause the video, just write it down, because displacement reaction is fully dependent on the reactivity series. Okay? So displacement reaction भी दो तरह के होते हैं ऐसे तो, double displacement and displacement, but these both are very opposite to each other in my point of view. I don't know about you. So when an element, now I'm talking about element, when an element displaces another element. Why displaces? Why an element displaces another element? According, now here comes the according to reactivity. So when one element displaces another element according to its reactivity, is known as displacement reaction. Okay, just say you can see here, this is the reactivity series. So what I can say is less reactive. अगर एक compound में less reactive के साथ है, तो the most reactive one can just displace it according, like zinc can displace iron, zinc can displace copper, zinc can displace hydrogen, potassium can displace calcium, can displace magnesium. So that's how it is. For example, FeSO4 plus Cu. I was writing the arrow, so yeah, sorry. So iron, yeah. One more example that we can write is like copper sulfate हो गया. One more very commonly used is lead. Lead plus, let's say, copper CuCl. That is copper chloride. Gives me what? It gives me lead chloride plus copper. Why? Just tell me why. Till the time, let me just, yeah. Now it is balanced. It is because lead is more reactive than copper. Therefore, lead just displaces copper and it becomes lead chloride plus copper. You can just remember this one. No, this one is not very correct. 1, 2, 3. Just remember these 3 examples and you can just ace this exam very easily. Now we'll talk about double displacement reaction. Okay, now double displacement reaction. I have already written about double displacement reaction. So what happens is we don't need to use reactivity series. जैसे displacement में हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे, पूरा it was according to the reactivity series. But here we don't need to have reactivity series. But class 9, class 8 में जो हमने थोड़ा पढ़ा था basics, that we need to remember. You know, you must remember that few of them have positive ions, few of them have negative ions. So this is basically a exchange of ions. Like two compounds react with each other and exchange their ions, and this is a formation of new compounds. This is basically exchange of ions. And NCERT में जो definition लिखी है वो है two different atoms or group of atoms are exchanged. ठीक है, जैसे AgNO3 silver nitrate plus sodium chloride. Now what will happen is Ag जो है उसकी आयन पॉजिटिव है, Na की भी आयन पॉजिटिव है, but nitrate ions is negative and chloride ion is also negative. So now the positive ions one will exchange each other. So it will form NaNO3. यहाँ से इन दोनों ने एक्सचेंज कर दिया, इधर आ गया, इधर चला गया. So सोडियम नाइट्रेट प्लस सिल्वर क्लोराइड. ठीक है. You can also say कि हमने नेगेटिव वालों को एक्सचेंज कर दिया. You just need to exchange the ions of one kind. या तो पॉजिटिव आयंस को एक्सचेंज कर दो या नेगेटिव आयंस को एक्सचेंज कर दो, but this the exchange of ions of same ions. पॉजिटिव पॉजिटिव को एक्सचेंज कर देगा या नेगेटिव नेगेटिव को एक्सचेंज कर देगा. Like NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide plus hydrochloric acid, will give me, this is sodium is a positive ions, hydrogen is positive, but chloride and hydroxide are the negative ions. Therefore just say that negative ions को मैंने exchange कर दिया, so it will become sodium chloride and H2O, that is water. अब here comes it कि you must say that NHOH हो जाता. You might say me, but this is lame. HOH is nothing. 2 है तो इसको सीधे H2O तो लिख सकती हूँ ना. Why writing HOH? Have you ever heard? It forms HOH. It's not a compound. HOH कैसे हो जाएगा? It will be H2O. Do you write it like NaNOOO? You don't write. You simply write it as NaNO3. If it's 3 oxygen, you simply write it like this. So why you will write HOH? You will just write H2O. है ना? That's the simple thing. In the same way, lead nitrate plus potassium iodide, exchange of ions. Lead जो positive है, potassium positive, nitrate is negative ion and iodide is also negative. So exchange हुआ, it will form lead iodide and potassium nitrate. This line you just need to ignore it right now. We will discuss about it more. So what happening here is exchange of ions. Positive will exchange positive, negative will exchange negative, but there will be exchange. Nothing but exchange, and this will lead to the formation of new compounds. Easy, right? This one is easy. Double displacement reaction is very easy. Now you can see that for you I have gathered the positive ions one together, negative ions one together. NCERT 9th में ये दिया हुआ है already in a table form with the very beautifully. But you can see hydrogen, sodium, silver, lithium, potassium, ammonia, calcium, barium, copper, magnesium, iron, zinc, ammonium, lead. These all are having the positive ions, whereas chloride, bromine, ferrous, iodide, hydroxide, sulfate, sulfide, copper oxide, hydrogen copper oxide, these all are negative ions. ठीक है, you just write it down somewhere. When you are writing the notes for displacement reaction, just write this also, and displacement reaction, double displacement reaction will be easy. So I hope you have got till here what we have done. Now we are done with types of reactions, but there are few things we observe when we in chemical reaction. First is there will be change of state. या तो change of state होगा, change of color it can be here. You can see change of temperature or rise in temperature. They will be precipitate, right? It can precipitate as well. Formation of precipitate and evolution of gas. Now let's talk about this in more detail. Now change in state. We know that there are 3 kinds of states, that is gaseous, solids and liquids, right? Now when ice is melted, it goes from solid to liquid. Same like completely जब हम कोई chemical reaction कर रहे हैं and there's a kind of change in state, then we'll say it as a change of state in a chemical reaction. These are just the characteristics of chemical reaction. These aren't very important, but still you should know that they are the 5 kinds of characteristics. Characteristics क्या होता है that in a chemical reaction we will observe any of these, like या तो temperature में change होगा, it will increase, it will decrease, इसका state change हो सकता है, color, evaluation of gas. I'll tell you. Firstly, let us say ammonia, and ammonia, NH4 plus HCl, that is a strong acidic medium. Now when they react, they form NH4, that is ammonium Cl chloride. We can see, sorry, here not 4, here 3, ammonia. Okay, ammonia with hydrochloric acid. This is actually we call it as a ammonium chloride crystals. So this was in the state of gas, this was also a gas, but this is a solid. So this is a change of state. Hardly it can come for 1 marker, and they will just ask you either to identify which kind of change is there, or they will ask you to give an example, right? It can only come for 1 marks, I guess, right? Because इसमें ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं. And the most important topic in this 5 is precipitate. So you must focus when I'm telling you about this, and you should also focus about this. Now change of color. Color changes, we know that, like let us say copper sulfate plus iron. Now if you think it like think about it, here we can see a displacement reaction. Iron will displace copper here, right? So then we'll get the solution like FeSO4 plus Cu. Now this is an example of change in color. If you go to your laboratory, you can just check that CuSO4, that is copper sulfate, is blue in color. Okay, but soon when iron displaces copper, so iron sulfate is green in color. Okay, sorry, I will write it neatly. Green in color. Copper sulfate is blue, and when it reacts with iron, it gives us a solution of iron sulfate which is green in color, and also this copper is reddish brown here. This is not very important. The basic is that there is a change of color which is copper sulfate, and you can check in laboratories also. This green is like the color which glows in the night. That kind of color green it is, and it is blue. You can say light blue, but you don't have to justify it in your examinations, because then more you go in deep which you don't know about, more there will be chance to lose marks, and we can't take any kind of risk. Another example is, it's not very common but still, citric acid plus potassium permanganate. You must know potassium permanganate, you must have heard about it, and if you have heard, so it is purple in color. Okay, citric acid we know, potassium permanganate is purple in color, and the solution is actually colorless. I'm telling you because इसका जो chemical equation है, that's very hard to memorize, that I found it hard, right? So what you can do is, this can come it like a MCQ in your Lakshmi books and many books of reference. There is a given question like this where you have to answer it in a pick the correct option, like they have given you options colorless, blue, green, yellow, or the MCQ that which color it is. So you just have to remember it like MCQ में, so you can do that. ठीक है? Now next is change in temperature. Change in temperature is like जिसमें भी हमने exothermic reaction जितने भी होते हैं, you know that there is a change in temperature. Why? Because exothermic means, if I say Ca plus So is CaO plus heat. The heat is what? Basically rise in temperature. है ना. अगर rise in temperature होता है then what? It is a change of temperature. जितने भी exothermic reaction है, you can just write it like that. You can write like CaO plus H2O gives out what? CaOH2 plus heat. And that's why it's a exothermic reaction. और हमने पढ़ा है कि most of the combination reactions are exothermic reaction, right? और तो आप इसमें ये भी कर सकते हो कि जो आपको confident हो कि yeah, I have heard it about like it's a exothermic reaction, it is combination reaction, you can just write it down. So this one is not very hard and nothing very thing that you don't know, and it's not hard to understand at all. Now precipitate, you actually tell us like formation of precipitate. Sorry, yeah. It wasn't visible to you. Yeah, formation of. Now, formation of precipitate क्या है? If we think about it, precipitate is nothing but a solid product. It's a solid also which separates out from a solution. Means a non-soluble है ये. Non-soluble जो solid बच जाता है हमारे chemical reaction में, that is nothing but precipitate. ठीक है? This one is very important. I am repeating it again and again. You need to focus on this. And the most common example you will see is potassium iodide plus lead nitrate, which gives you lead iodide plus potassium nitrate. Okay, you can just write it down. Now what happens is, this is potassium iodide, this is lead nitrate, it gives us potassium iodide. Now focus, iodine is here and this is iodide, and you can see what is the difference here. lead nitrate का 2 इसमें आया because of crisscross method, and इधर कुछ भी इसके पास नहीं आया, so it is iodine because its value is 1, right? And here it's 2, so iodide. Potassium nitrate. Now the one, this is, and this will give us the solid lead iodide, and ये जो है, this actually gets soluble, but this is separated out as it's a non-soluble solid, and that's why this is known as precipitate. And this is yellow in color. Okay, this is yellow in color. Now in this you can get questions like which color is lead iodide, or which compound is precipitate here, what kind of reaction it is. So you must know that this is a double displacement reaction. Okay, so you can write it down, double displacement and precipitate reaction. You in this chapter you must try कि हम जितने भी types, एक question, एक chemical equation के जितने भी type के reaction बन सकते हैं, we can write, because sometimes they give you question like कि इसके हम इसको और कौन सा रिएक्शन में इसको कैटेगराइज कर सकते हैं. ये बोल देंगे कि दिस वन इज डबल डिस्प्लेसमेंट. टेल अस another kind of reaction in which we can categorize it, we can put it in. So you can just simply write formation of precipitate or precipitate reaction. Although we aren't learning it as a kind of reaction, but moreover as a characteristics. But still you can write it like that, and that won't be an issue. You can go with few more examples of it. Now comes the topic evolution of gas. So evolution of gas में मैंने यहाँ एक example लिखा है, H2 4 plus Zn gives out to be ZnSO4 plus H2. Now H2 क्या है, हमारा gaseous state में है. So what you can write is कि H2 जो है वो evolution of gas है. This is nothing very big or thing you will find hard to remember. Okay, so बस आप इसमें जहाँ पे एलिमेंट चेंज करते रहो यही पकड़ के रखो, जस्ट सोच लो कि यही केमिकल रिएक्शन है, H2 कर दो. और ऐसे भी अगर आपको एमसीक्यू में भी आता है कि H2 यहाँ है, विच गैस इज इवॉल्व, सो आई थिंक यू आर बिग इनफ टू अंडरस्टैंड कि H2 ही है जो कि यहाँ इवॉल्व हो रहा है. यहाँ पे O2N2 गैसेस स्टेट में आना इज, यू नो, वेरी वेरी रेयर जो आपको यहाँ पे आएगा. सो आई थिंक और मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम इवोल्यूशन ऑफ गैस में जो हम फोकस करते हैं वो होता है H2. एंड विल talk about one few activities also of our NCERT book. उसमें भी देखा है हमने कि H2 गैस जो है इवॉल्व हो रही है. आई थिंक दिस वन इज द रिएक्शन ओनली, यही रिएक्शन था. यू कैन चेक इन योर लेबोरेटरीज एज वेल. तो जब हम टेस्ट ट्यूब में डालेंगे तो इवोल्यूशन ऑफ गैस होगी. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज इट ऑल अबाउट. इवोल्यूशन ऑफ गैस इज नथिंग बिग बट या. सो हमने चेंज ऑफ स्टेट पढ़ लिया, चेंज ऑफ कलर, चेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर, प्रेसिपिटेट, ये सारा 500 टॉपिक कर लिया. तो नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू द एंड ऑफ आवर सेशन. सो अब इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें और क्या बची है उनको फटाफट से रिवाइज कर लेते हैं, पढ़ लेते हैं, सो दैट वी कैन एस द स्टार्टर as fast as we can. Now the one of the most important and I think confusing topics में से एक है redox. Now सीनियर क्लासेस में तो हम इसको बहुत ही ज़्यादा डेप्थ में पढ़ने वाले हैं. एज वी ऑल नो सीनियर क्लास में हम इसके बारे में काफ़ी सारे राज टाइप की चीज़ें हैं वो हम पता लगाएंगे. बट हियर वी हैव नथिंग वेरी लाइक सीरियस थिंग. रेडॉक्स क्या है? रिडक्शन और ऑक्सीडेशन को हम मिला के रेडॉक्स बोल देते हैं. एंड दिस टू थिंग्स आर कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट, लाइक कम्प्लीटली. और आपको ये क्वेश्चन जो है रिडक्शन और ऑक्सीडेशन का, इसको डिफरेंस बताने में बताया जा सकता है. आपको एजेंट्स पूछ सकते हैं, मैं आपको पहले ही बता दे रही हूँ कि पूछ सकते हैं, या घुमा फिरा के MCQ में आपसे ये पूछ सकते हैं. सो आई विल लाइक यू टू राइट इट डाउन. आई होप दिस इज वेरी क्लियर. बाय द टाइम आई विल ट्राई टू मेक नोट्स वो क्लियर, बट आई विल कीप स्पीकिंग सो यू कैन जस्ट listen to me and write it down. And here also I think it's pretty much clear कि आप समझ सकते हो क्या है. And also redox is the last topic of your NCERT textbook. You can go through that also once. I have taken examples from that only and you can also go through it. So it will be more clear because NCERT हमें कभी भी नहीं छोड़ना है. जो भी आएगा रेफरेंस अगर पढ़ रहे हो और NCERT नहीं, then I'll say कि फिर पढ़ना is not okay. You need to understand NCERT as well, क्योंकि जो आएगा NCERT ही फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस होनी चाहिए. बहुत होगी बातें. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट रिडॉक्स. ऑक्सीडेशन और रिडक्शन क्या होता है? ऑक्सीडेशन क्या होता है? एक्चुअली जस्ट द एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. कोई केमिकल रिएक्शन है एंड इफ यू आर सीइंग दैट दिस ऑक्सीडेशन उस कंपाउंड में ऐड हो रहा है, तो सॉरी ऑक्सीजन उस कंपाउंड में ऐड हो रहा है या कोई एलिमेंट के साथ ऑक्सीजन कंबाइन होकर एक नया कंपाउंड बन रहा है, तो हम उसको एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन या ऑक्सीडेशन वी कैन कॉल इट लाइक. Reduction is just the addition of hydrogen. I'll highlight it. ठीक है, एडिशन ऑफ हाइड्रोजन को हम कहते हैं रिडक्शन. नाउ ऑक्सीडेशन एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन मैंने बता दिया. रिडक्शन इज एडिशन ऑफ हाइड्रोजन. इसी का उल्टा भी कह सकते हैं कि ऑक्सीडेशन में क्या है, हाइड्रोजन अगर किसी एलिमेंट कंपाउंड में से आपका हाइड्रोजन जा रहा है, ओके, रिमूव हो गया, देन ऑल्सो यू कैन से ऑक्सीडेशन. और या फिर अगर कोई कंपाउंड से आपका ऑक्सीजन डिस्प्लेस हो गया, निकल गया, देन यू कैन से इट एज रिडक्शन. एडिशन ऑफ नॉन मेटल्स को हम ऑक्सीडेशन कहते हैं और रिडक्शन मीन्स एडिशन ऑफ मेटल. ये वाली जो पॉइंट है इससे रिलेटेड MCQ या वैसे क्वेश्चंस मैंने ज़्यादा देखे नहीं है. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम इट्स दिस 2 पॉइंट्स ओनली, एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, रिमूवल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन, एडिशन ऑफ हाइड्रोजन, रिमूवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. बट स्टिल वी शुड नो द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स. सो या, दे आर एक्सोथर्मिक मोर टाइम, रिमूवल ऑफ मेटल और इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव एलिमेंट. ठीक है. नाउ ओके, अब एक मैं पॉइंट बोलिए, ऑयल रिग. ऑयल इज व्हाट? ऑक्सीडेशन इज लॉस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, रिडक्शन इज गेन ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. ये सारे पॉइंट्स से मैंने क्वेश्चन ज़्यादा आपके प्रेफरेंस या NCERT में देखे हैं नहीं. सो आई विल नॉट गो इन डीप, क्योंकि जो हमें पढ़ना नहीं है, हमारी बुक में ज़्यादा डीप में दिया नहीं है. ये सब भी आपकी बुक में बहुत ज़्यादा डीप में नहीं दिया हुआ है. इफ़ यू विल फोकस. सो लेट्स मूव फॉरवर्ड. जो कि इसका इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है वो है रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट और ऑक्सीडाइज्ड एजेंट. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर दैट एटलीस्ट फ्यू क्वेश्चंस यू विल गेट इन विच दे विल जस्ट ट्रिक यू आउट और पूछेंगे कि बताओ कौन सा ऑक्सीडाइज्ड एजेंट है और कौन सा रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट है. एंड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि मोस्ट ऑफ यू विल डू मिस्टेक इफ यू विल नॉट हेयर मी हियर प्रॉपर्ली. तो CuO क्या हुआ? टेल मी. राइट, इट इज कॉपर ऑक्साइड प्लस वाटर gives me what, सॉरी, कॉपर ऑक्साइड प्लस हाइड्रोजन गिव्स मी कॉपर एंड वाटर। ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या हुआ, जो हमारा CuO है इसमें से O यहाँ पे निकल गया। मैं अगर सीधे सीधे एकदम हिंदी में बोलूँ और एकदम हमारी लोकल लैंग्वेज टाइप से बोलूँ तो CuO को O छोड़ दिया और Cu अकेले रह गया। तो क्या हुआ, ऑक्सीजन जो है कम हुआ, ऑक्सीजन जो है रेड्यूस हुआ, रिमूव हुआ। और जहाँ पे ऑक्सीजन रिमूव होता है उसको हम क्या कहते हैं, रिडक्शन। तो पहले तो ये फटाफट लिख लेना कि ये रेड्यूस हो गया, कॉपर ऑक्साइड रेड्यूस होकर कॉपर हो गया। अब H2 तो अकेले आया था, बट नाउ इट हैज गॉट अ फ्रेंड दैट इज ऑक्सीजन। तो H2 क्या बन गया, H2O बन गया। तो ये क्या हो गया, एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन। अब एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन क्या होता है, ऑक्सीडेशन होता है। तो फटाफट लिख लिया हमने कि ये ऑक्सीडाइज हुआ, ये रेड्यूस हुआ, और हीट तो ऑब्वियसली थी ही बीच में जिसकी वजह से हुआ। नाउ द क्वेश्चन दे विल गिव यू इज, टेल मी व्हिच वन इज रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट। थिंक अबाउट इट, कौन सा इसमें आपको रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट लग रहा है। ओनली इन दिस एग्जांपल आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हिच वन इज रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट। अगर आपने ऊपर के नोट्स पढ़ लिए हैं देन आई एम प्रीटी श्योर दैट आपको समझ, आप आंसर दे दोगे, बट यू माइट नॉट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई इट इज सो। तो यहाँ लिखा है कि रिएक्टेंट गेटिंग ऑक्सीडाइज, जो ऑक्सीडाइज होगा उस मैंने लिख दिया है कि उसको रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट बोल देना, जो रेड्यूस होगा उसको ऑक्सीडाइज एजेंट बोल देगा। नाउ यू विल से दैट दिस इज प्रीटी कंफ्यूजिंग। ऐसा क्यों है, तो ऐसा इसलिए है क्योंकि आप देखो ये H2 जो है ये ऑक्सीडाइज हुआ, इसने ऑक्सीजन लिया, तो इसने इससे ऑक्सीजन लिया तब ये ऑक्सीडाइज हुआ। और मान लो कि अगर H2 इससे ऑक्सीजन नहीं लेता तो क्या ये रिड्यूस होता, नहीं होता। लेट मी क्लियर माई सेल्फ वंस अगेन, व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज, कॉपर ऑक्साइड में से H2 जो कि हमारा हाइड्रोजन है उसने ऑक्सीजन लिया। लेट मी जस्ट टेल यू इन अ प्रीटी मैनर बिफोर, जस्ट लेट मी, मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ इस कि हमारे पास CuO है और H2 है। अब ये जो O है ये H2 ने लेगा, H2 लेगा तभी तो ये Cu बचेगा ना। अगर ये H2 मान लो कि अब ये H2 बोल रहा है कि ये नहीं लेगा, वैसे बोल नहीं सकता है, प्लीज मेरी इस बात पे मत जाना, दिस इज जस्ट फॉर योर नॉलेज। क्योंकि हाइड्रोजन जो है कॉपर को क्या कर रहा है, यू आर राइट, डिस्प्लेस कर रहा है। क्या कर रहा है, तो हाइड्रोजन क्यों कर रहा है, जल्दी से मुझे बता दो कि क्यों कर रहा है। इसलिए कर रहा है क्योंकि हमने रिएक्टिविटी सीरीज पढ़ी है और हाइड्रोजन जो है वो कॉपर से ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव है। लेट मी जस्ट टेल यू दिस, ये देखो हाइड्रोजन कॉपर से ज़्यादा रिएक्टिव है, सो इट विल डिस्प्लेस इट। ये तो हमें पता है कि डिस्प्लेस तो होगा ही, लेकिन अगर मान लो कि यहाँ पे कोई और एलिमेंट होता जो कि डिस्प्लेस नहीं करता, लेट्स सपोज ZnO होता, ठीक है, ZnO होता और H2 होता। अब मुझे बताओ क्या इनमें कोई चेंज होगा, यहाँ पे सॉल्यूशन कुछ और चेंज हो जाएगा, नहीं होगा। व्हाई, इट इज बिकॉज दिस नो वन डिस्प्लेसिंग, कोई केमिकल रिएक्शन हो ही नहीं रहा है। अब होगा ही नहीं तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, ZnO प्लस H2 ही आ जाएगा। तो ना कोई रिड्यूस हुआ ना कोई ऑक्सीडाइज हुआ। लेकिन हमने जो यहाँ एग्जाम्पल दिया है वो है CuO प्लस H2। दिस H2 इज नाउ डिस्प्लेसिंग कॉपर, कॉपर को हटा के हाइड्रोजन के साथ वो अपना एक कंपाउंड बना रहा है, हाइड्रोजन एलिमेंट आके ऑक्सीजन एलिमेंट को ले रहा है। तो यहाँ क्या हुआ, इसने जब लिया तो ये तो हुआ रेड्यूस, ये तो ठीक है, ये रेड्यूस हो गया, वो तो मैं मानती हूँ। लेकिन अगर ये ऑक्सीजन लेता ही नहीं तो ये कॉपर ऑक्सीडाइज ही नहीं होता, कॉपर जो है रेड्यूस ही नहीं होता अगर ये ऑक्सीडाइज नहीं होता। तो अगर H2 मेरा ऑक्सीडाइज ना हो तो ये रेड्यूस भी नहीं हो सकता है। तो इन सिंपल वर्ड्स मैं ये कह सकती हूँ कि H2 जो H2O बन गया और वो Cu जो हमारे पास रह गया, दैट इज एक्चुअली ये जो H2 और H2O है, ये H2 मेरा क्या है, रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट है। क्योंकि ये अगर यहाँ रेड्यूस नहीं करता, अगर H2 ऑक्सीडाइज नहीं होता, अगर H2 ऑक्सीजन नहीं लेता तो क्या होता, तो ये रेड्यूस नहीं होता। अगर ये रेड्यूस नहीं होता तो फिर कोई रिएक्शन नहीं होता, जिसके अभी मैंने एक एग्जांपल आपको ऑलरेडी बता दी है। सो देयरफॉर वी कैन से दैट द एलिमेंट दैट इज गेटिंग ऑक्सीडाइज्ड इज अ रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट, क्योंकि वो हेल्प कर रही है रिडक्शन में। एंड द वन दैट इज गेटिंग रेड्यूस इज एक्चुअली अ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट, क्योंकि ये कॉपर ऑक्साइड जो है वो अपने ऑक्सीजन को बोल रहा है कि ओके यू कैन गो। जब ये ऑक्सीजन से अलग हो रहा है, कॉपर से जब अलग हो रहा है, देन ओनली इट इज फॉर्मिंग आर H2O, ठीक है। कॉपर ऑक्साइड में से ऑक्सीजन हट रहा है तभी H2O वाटर बन पा रहा है, वरना नहीं बन पाता। देयरफॉर जो रेड्यूस हो रहा है वो एक्चुअली मेरा ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट है। ये तो कभी भी आपको अगर रिडॉक्स का क्वेश्चन आएगा तो ऐसे आपको एरो बना के ये तो लिखना ही है। एंड ऑल्सो फॉर अ गुड इम्प्रेशन ऑन योर टीचर, योर चेकर, यू कैन जस्ट टेल रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट और ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट, बट हाँ सही होना चाहिए। यू शुड नॉट कंफ्यूज कि ये कॉपर ऑक्साइड रेड्यूस हो रहा है तो यही रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट हो गया, ये हाइड्रोजन ऑक्सीडाइज हो रहा है तो यही ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट हो गया। नो, नॉट एट ऑल, ठीक है, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं होना चाहिए। नाउ ZNO, ZNO और C, दैट इज कार्बन। ZNO क्या है, अभी हमने एग्जाम्पल भी लिया था, जिंक ऑक्साइड। और कार्बन जो है वो जब कर रहे हैं तो ये जो है इसको डिस्प्लेस कर दे रहा है, कार्बन डिस्प्लेसेस आर जिंक, बिकॉज कार्बन जो है वो पहले आता है जिंक से, कार्बन जो है वो मोर रिएक्टिव है दैन जिंक। नाउ देन व्हेन जिंक से ज़्यादा कार्बन रिएक्टिव है तो इसने डिस्प्लेस किया, और ये तो अब बन गया कार्बन ऑक्साइड ऑक्सीजन, बट ये बन गया जिंक अकेला रह गया। तो व्हाट वी हैव सीन इज दिस कंपाउंड इज गेटिंग रेड्यूस्ड एंड इट इज गेटिंग ऑक्सीडाइज्ड, ठीक है। अब ऑक्सीडाइज्ड और रेड्यूस है तो मुझे फटाफट बताओ कि कौन सी इसमें से रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट है और कौन सी ऑक्सीडाइज्ड एजेंट है। लेट मी जस्ट टेल यू हियर, जो हमारा ZNO है वो मेरे C से मिला, दैट इज कार्बन, ठीक है। एंड नाउ they have a displacement reaction, because displacement reaction is nothing but when an element displaces another another element according to its reactivity. तो इसको हम कह देते हैं what? Just tell me fast. Yeah, it is displacement reaction. So it gives me zinc जो कि मेरा अकेला रह गया और CO. तो now tell me fast and fast and fast and fast. जल्दी से मुझे बता दो कि इसमें से अब रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट और ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट कौन है। मैं इतनी हेल्प कर देती हूँ कि ये जो है ये क्या हो रहा है, इट इज एक्चुअली गेटिंग रेड्यूस्ड। मैंने काफ़ी हेल्प कर दी, इतनी भी नहीं करनी चाहिए थी। और ये जो है ये हो रहा है ऑक्सीडाइज। तो जब ये रेड्यूस हुआ तो ऑक्सीडाइज हुआ। अब मुझे बता दो, सो द करेक्ट आंसर इज कि जो हमारा रेड्यूस हो रहा है कंपाउंड जो कि है जिंक ऑक्सीजन, वो जो है वो है ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट, और ये जो कार्बन है ये है हमारा रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट। ये है ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट, ये है रेड्यूसिंग एजेंट, ऑक्सीडाइजिंग रेड्यूसिंग, ठीक है। अगर इतना सिंपल आपको क्वेश्चन आता है जिसमें आपको बता भी दिया कि ये रेड्यूस ऑक्सीडाइज है, तब तो आपका आना ही चाहिए, बिकॉज यू विल जस्ट हैव टू राइट द अपोजिट वन। बट सपोज अगर वो ये चीज़ नहीं बता, नाउ there are two more examples here and I want you to tell me in the comments below which one is getting reduced, which one is getting oxidized, and the reducing agent and oxidizing agent. Also, I want you to write at least 2 examples of formation of precipitate in the comments below, and if you are not able to find any, then the answers of the homework are present in the description below. Okay, now let's move forward. Now corrosion और acidity, ये जो है these are nothing but the effects, जैसे केमिकल रिएक्शन कुछ किया तो हम और क्या ऑब्जर्व करेंगे और क्या इफेक्ट्स होंगे उसके, है ना। बहुत से इफेक्ट्स होंगे, बहुत से चीज़ें होंगी। तो ये तो पहले तो आप इसको नोट डाउन कर लो। आई होप एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर। लेट मी जूम इट आउट। कोरोजन क्या होता है? इट्स जस्ट द प्रोसेस ऑफ स्लोली ईटिंग अप of metals by gas and water vapors present in atmosphere. अगर आपको आ रहा है क्वेश्चन व्हाट इज कोरोजन, सो यू हैव टू राइट दिस एग्जैक्टली द सेम, ठीक है। इसमें अपना कोई चेंज नहीं करना है, कुछ भी नहीं करना है, सेम लिखना है। ये नहीं सोचना कि स्लोली ईटिंग अप नहीं लिखे या कुछ, क्योंकि दिस इज व्हाट कोरोजन इज, एंड जो होता है वही लिखना होता है। आई हैव सीन मैनी स्टूडेंट्स जो कि बोलते हैं कि स्लोली ईटिंग अप मेटल्स लिखना हमें ठीक नहीं लगा, सो वी फ्रेम्ड आवर ओन। यू कैन फ्रेम द आंसर्स बट यू can't frame the definitions. Definitions ऐसी चीज़ें जो कि you must learn, क्योंकि एक एक word से your answer get wrong, right? So the process of slowly eating up by gas and water vapors present in atmosphere is nothing but what? Corrosion. और इससे हम बच सकते हैं कैसे, उसका भी सॉल्यूशन है हमारे पास। सॉल्यूशन क्या है? यू कैन हैव पेंट। जैसे हम क्या करते हैं, आयरन या ग्रिल का कोई हम सामान लाते हैं तो वी मैनी टाइम्स यू वुड हैव सीन कि हम उसको पेंट कर देते हैं। व्हाई? सो दैट द corrosion वुड नॉट हैपन। इन द सेम वे इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग हमने सीखा था, हमने एग्जाम्पल्स भी किए थे, सिल्वर की इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग कर दी थी, बहुत सी की थी इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग भी, एंड वी नो व्हाट इट इज, राइट। गिलेनाइजेशन भी जो प्रोसेस है वो भी एक corrosion का ही प्रोसेस होता है, जिसमें हम ग्रीस लगाना, उसमें केमिकल्स लगाना एंड मेनी मोर। इसके आपको ज़्यादा उसमें जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। फिर आया बैरियर प्रोटेक्शन। ये वर्ड इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। समटाइम्स इन द CBSE क्वेश्चन यू कैन गेट इट लाइक corrosion के बैरियर प्रोटेक्शंस बताओ। एंड नाउ हियर स्टूडेंट्स गेट कंफ्यूज कि हमने बैरियर प्रोटेक्शंस तो सीखे ही नहीं थे, वी जस्ट लर्न कि इनसे हम अपने corrosion को प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। सो जस्ट रियलाइज कि इसी को तो हम बैरियर प्रोटेक्शन कहते हैं। दिस इज व्हाट बैरियर प्रोटेक्शन इज। नाउ रस्टलिंग ऑफ आयरन। तो मैंने थोड़ा सा फोकस कर दिया corrosion पे, सो दैट यू कैन जस्ट राइट इट डाउन कि क्या है। नाउ corrosion का भी अब होता है, एक तो होता है टैनिसिंग और रस्लिंग। ये टैनिसिंग ऑफ कॉपर सिल्वर जो आपने सुना है, या रस्लिंग ऑफ आयरन जो सुना है, ये होता तो है हमारा corrosion ही, लेकिन हम इसको कहते अलग है। यू कांट से रस्लिंग ऑफ सिल्वर, रस्लिंग ऑफ कॉपर या टैनिसिंग ऑफ आयरन, ठीक है। तो रस्लिंग ऑफ आयरन में क्या होता है, रेडिश ब्राउन पाउडर आ जाता है, सिल्वर पे ब्लैक आ जाता है कोटिंग, एंड द कॉपर गेट्स द कोटिंग ऑफ ग्रीन कलर। और जो आयरन की corrosion है, यू नो दैट्स अ वेरी सीरियस। आपने भी अपने घर में किया होगा नोटिस कि कैसे आपके आयरन के थिंग्स गेट corroded, कैसे रस्लिंग हो जाती है इसकी। आयरन चेन्स दैट इज वाइडली यूज्ड इन इंडियन होम्स, राइट। सो यू जस्ट हैव हर्ड योर पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो सेइंग कि ओ नो वी हैव लॉस्ट द मनी, इसमें इतने का खरीदा था, इतने का खरीदा था, एंड नाउ इट इज ऑफ नो यूज। और इससे क्या होता है, वो आयरन की जो स्ट्रेंथ होती है वो वीक हो जाती है, द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ दिस आयरन गेट्स वीक, दैट्स व्हाई डैमेजेस लाइक abrasives ये सब पे भी होता है। इफ यू हैव वेंट टू क्रूज, अगर आप क्रूज पे जाओ तो व्हाट विल हैपन इज, वो ना चेक करते रहते हैं दैट दिस इज नॉट नो रस्लिंग ओवर देयर, बिकॉज रस्लिंग हो जाएगी, स्ट्रेंथ कम हो जाएगी, एक होल हो गया, 2 होल्स हो गए, सो यू नो द शिप विल बिकम अ टाइटैनिक, सो दैट वी कांट अफोर्ड। बट ये corrosion जो होता है ना, समटाइम्स इट्स यू नो बेनिफिशियल ऑल्सो। हाउ? ये होता क्या है मैं आपको बता देती हूँ। इट्स वेरी सिंपल। नाउ corrosion की इतनी बुराई कर ली, अब कुछ अच्छाई भी देख लेते हैं। तो होता क्या है, एल्युमिनियम, जिंक, ये भी स्लोली ईटिंग अप बाय मेटल्स, गैस, वेटर वेपर्स वाला इनका भी फॉर्मूला होता है, corrosion इनके भी साथ होता है। बट ऐसे तो corrosion खराब होता है, इट्स नॉट गुड, we have many and many disadvantages, but here it has a good advantage. You will ask me advantage कैसे है? तो होता क्या है, जब corrosion होता है तो ये क्या होते हैं, ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाते हैं, ठीक है। Now when they get oxidized, तो ये जो मेटल्स है ना, इनको एक्चुअली एनवायरनमेंट से बचना होता है। when they get corrosion, तो इनके ऊपर एक लेयर फॉर्म हो जाती है, and that layer is what? That layer actually act as a protective layer. वो एक प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर की तरह काम करती है। इसके ऊपर जो लेयर बनती है दैट इज वेरी स्टिकी एंड इम्पेरिवस, मतलब कुछ अंदर बाहर गैसेस ये सब नहीं होने देती है, तो इम्पेरिवस ये इसके प्रॉपर्टीज होती है, इसके ऊपर जो लेयर फॉर्म होती है। तो corrosion is not always very bad, it has few advantages, it has only one advantage, होता है एल्युमिनियम और जिनके ऊपर formation of protective layer. Get my point? I hope you get. Now let's move forward to the last topic of our chapter, rancidity. ठीक है। Now rancidity is what? भड़ भड़ के मैंने लिखा है, and I want you to write इतना ही in your notebooks because this is important. अगर important नहीं होता तो मैं नहीं लिखती, okay? ये मैंने लिख दिया है because now I don't want our time to be wasted, और इसमें कुछ समझाने का है नहीं कि मुझे लिखना पड़े। This is just a conceptual things जो आपको बस पढ़ना है और याद रखना है और समझना है। तो खाने के अंदर you know in a food there are oils, there are fats, and these oils and fat जो है ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाती हैं, हो सकती है कि नहीं, जस्ट टेल मी whether it can be oxidized or not. Obviously oxidized तो हो सकती है. अब oxidized जब होंगी then इसी को हम rancidity कहते हैं. Rancidity is क्या है कि जब ये fats and oils gets oxidized then they rancid, means their taste changes, their smell is just awful. You don't want to smell it, you don't want to eat it, and that's what rancidity is, जो कि हम घर में रोज देखते हैं. If you make something, some curry, some vegetable curry, and you forget to put it in your fridge, and अगर तुमने अपने रेफ्रिजरेटर पे वो नहीं रखा तो क्या होगा? It will get rancidity. उसमें rancid हो जाएगा. If you will then think that I should eat it now, then you won't be able to eat because it will smell bad. Its smell and taste will change completely. So the process of slow oxidation. Now this is not very fast. कैसे हो जाए? This is a very slow process of oxidation of fats and oils, which is volatile in nature, present in food. ये यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक की जो definition है, I want you to like learn it, remember it, because this is very correct. ये यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक की, ठीक है? Now, like the way we learned about the methods to protect our metals from getting corroded, in the same way food को भी बचाने का we have 4 to 5 ways. The first one is antioxidants. Antioxidants is basically a chemical, and when you add it in your food, it does nothing but it will help your food not to get oxidized. या oxidized ना होने में help करेगा. So this is antioxidant. BHT or BHA, ये कुछ antioxidants के name है, and I found it easy, so you can just remember. Although this is not in your NCERT textbook, so it's not possible that आ जाए, but still antioxidant word is given. So that's why I have written 2 examples, and if you write it down in your exams, then wow, it will be nice. Second is keeping your food in airtight container. अगर आप अपने food को airtight container में रखोगे, then it will help it to get oxidized. क्योंकि oxidized क्या है? Addition of oxygen. Oxygen is where? In the atmosphere, and if you put airtight container, then more atmosphere can't reach your food, and if your food will be safe from oxygen, it will be safe from oxidation, and hence your food will not rancid. Chips manufacturers use flush bags, so fully with bags जो होते हैं, they use it. Why? Because they don't want the food to rancid. And you have noticed also कि कोई आपका चिप्स का पैकेट होता है, कुकी का पैकेट होता है, and when मान लो कि उसके फ्लश बैग में होल हो गया, and now the oxygen can go in and out. So when you will try to eat it, it won't be the crispy now, you won't like it taste, it will start smelling bad, right? So that is nothing but the rancidity of your chips, your food. That's why chips manufacturers use flush bags. And nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas is also an antioxidant. ये तो chemical antioxidant है, ये natural antioxidant है. या फिर आप अपने टेम्परेचर लो पे रख दो. चिप्स का तो हम लो टेम्परेचर पे नहीं रख सकते, but the vegetable curries are leftover foods. Why mama keeps our leftover foods in refrigerator? Just because she doesn't want it to rancid. And using salt. Pickles में we use भर के salt. क्यों? Because we don't want it to rancid. ओके तो ये तो मैग्नीशियम वाली एक बात मैंने लिखी है जो कि मैंने आपको पढ़ा चुकी है. बट व्हेन आई वाज मेकिंग नोट्स, तो मैंने सोचा था कि मैं आपको ये चीज़ लास्ट में बताऊंगी, बट आई थॉट कि पहले बता दूँ, तो मैंने बता दी. एंड यू कैन जस्ट गो थ्रू इट वंस, रीड इट वंस. ये पूरा आंसर हुए में लिखा है आपके एनसीईआरटी टेक्स्ट बुक में. देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन एज वेल दैट व्हाई वी नीड टू क्लीन मैग्नीशियम रिबन विद सैंड पेपर बिफोर यूजिंग इट. तो ये आंसर सीधा सीधा है. And with this, the chapter ends here. But now this, I know हमने ये सारे compounds most of the times हमने कई बार discuss कर दिए हैं, but still in your examination they will give just name कि methane reacts with hydroxide, nitrate reacts with ammonia, ये कुछ को भी calcium hydrogen, sulfur dioxide reacts with hydrogen, hydroxide. Now tell the valence chemical equation, and for that आपको compound पता होना चाहिए. क्योंकि कुछ कंपाउंड्स के जो नेम्स होते हैं we get confused that what is it. So I want you to write it down in your notebooks, read it again and again, so it will be in your mind at least. और ऐसे तो आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे तो you will get to remember. बट जैसे सल्फाइड हो गया, सल्फाइड, सल्फेट, सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड, we get confused. Even this disulfide, I remember it came in the reference book question once, and I was just confused कि disulfide क्या होता है. I know sulfide, what is disulfide? And then I got to know that carbon and sulfide is disulfide. So just remember it. ये 1.6 है आपकी नेक्स्ट बुक का, ये 1.7 है. सो सारी एक्टिविटीज़ में आई फाउंड दिस टू एक्टिविटीज एज इम्पॉर्टेंट. वैसे तो यू शुड गो थ्रू ऑल द एक्टिविटीज एज आई हैव सेड बिफोर, बट लेट अस डिस्कस इट. लेड नाइट्रेट वाला, यू नो दिस इज बैलेंस्ड. तो लेड नाइट्रेट का होता क्या है, व्हेन यू इन अ टेस्ट ट्यूब जस्ट गेट सम lead nitrate and burn, like you know, pair of tongs की help से keep it above the burner so it gets heated up. When you heat up the lead nitrate, so it will give you lead oxide, nitrogen oxide and oxygen. So इसमें what you will observe is, आप जब इस टेस्ट ट्यूब को ऐसे पकड़ोगे with the help of tongs, you will see some evolution of gas. Remember, this is also example of evolution of gas. Oxygen here is getting evolved. ठीक है. So you can hear some cracky sound while burning it, while heating it up. There is formation of few brown fumes. Like brown fumes are there. They are thermal decomposition reaction. You know, क्योंकि एक जो है वो decompose हो रहा है number of products. Heat is there, that's why it is thermal decomposition reaction. And the yellow precipitate, ये जो precipitate है यहाँ पे वो lead oxide है. So how many types of reactions are these? So first तो हो गया thermal decomposition reaction. सेकेंड हो गया एंडोथर्मिक रिएक्शन. थर्ड हो गया फॉर्मेशन ऑफ प्रेसिपिटेट. फोर्थ हो गया इवोल्यूशन ऑफ गैस. ओके, नाउ electrolysis you have learnt in the previous classes also, and I don't think it's very hard for you, but many a times CBSE has given question like this. Our reference maybe है, so we should go through it. Now H2O we know what we'll do. हम ऐसे एनोड और कैथोड लगाते हैं वाटर के अंदर ही. You know, इस तरह से रहता है. कैसे मैं बताऊँ, माई ड्राइंग इज़ नॉट वेरी नाइस, बट इस तरह से रहेगा. वाटर है इसमें. ओके, here it is H2O. This is your beaker. Now beaker में you will have two test tubes and you will have the whole circuit. electricity पास करने का पूरा तरीका रखोगे. And when you will pass electricity, when we will supply electric current, we will observe कि जो formation है वो H2 और O2 की gases की formation है. Means here we are breaking down water into hydrogen and oxygen. This is a kind of decomposition reaction as well as it is a, no, it's not the thermal decomposition reaction, it is electrolytic decomposition reaction. ठीक है. कैथोड जो होगा उसके पास O2 gas आएगी and anode will have H2 gas, that is hydrogen. So what we are doing is, cathode when put near, you know, candle के पास आप cathode को रखोगे, so it will burn with pop. ये जो हमारा तो टेस्ट ट्यूब है उसमें हम डिस्प्लेस करेंगे, तो when we'll burn it, it will burn with a pop sound. तो ये तो decomposition of water है. hydrogen gas will be double of oxygen gas. Why it will be double? ये क्वेश्चन बहुत आता है कि why hydrogen gas will be double of oxygen gas. So we know that H2O is a ratio of 2:1 because of law of constant proportion. और law of constant proportion जो है वो हमें बताता है कि हाइड्रोजन के 2 है molecule and ऑक्सीजन के 1 है, and that's why it will be double. Also when you will see like H2O gives H2 plus O2. So even when you balance it, तो you will see कि जब हम इसको कर रहे हैं 4:2, 2:1 जा 2 जा, so we are getting 2:1 only. So hydrogen will always be double the oxygen, and this is the reason because of law of constant proportion. I think this is clear to all of you. Now it's time to say bye, and with this we are ending up with the chemical reactions and equation, the syllabus of 2023 to 24, the revised syllabus है. Everything is been teached according to the Cbse 2023-24 guidelines, and I hope you have learned something. You will be able to understand the concepts more clearly, and this chapter is very important. Though it's easy, but still You need to do hard work. I hope you like my video. If you do, so like and subscribe my channel. Also share it with your friends so that they can also enjoy the session, also enjoy chemistry. And if you haven't ring the bell hang button yet, so you must do it now. So you will get all the notifications of my channel. Till then, revise it, make the notes, and I'll be back with our next video very soon. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.